It's about really creating an experience for them so that they're shifted from the inside out. And when it comes to sales, what's cool is that this is really your first opportunity to very much demonstrate that you are here for them, that it's not about you needing a sale, you needing anything from them. It's about you showing up on that sales call or inside of DMs or wherever it is that you do that sales process, and really coming with a heart that says, I'm here to listen and see how I can help. And when you shift from like, I need this sale to like, I need to help you, it changes the dynamic so dramatically that
if you're someone who has always wanted to get consistent clients in their online service-based business without the pressure to post on social media, I made this podcast specifically for you. I'm Leslie Stevens, and I am so excited to welcome you to the Not an Influencer show, where we chat about other organic marketing strategies that you can use to bring clients into your business quickly and easily, and the tangible tips for you to move forward faster in your business, and the stories of the entrepreneurs who are doing the same every single day. I cannot wait because I brought Lynette back because she is just absolutely brilliant. And we talk about marketing mostly on this podcast. But what happens when your marketing actually works? And we get to the point of making sales. And that is extremely intimidating for a lot of entrepreneurs. But honestly, it does not have to be, and it can be fun, and it can be an empowering process. And this is what Lynette really specializes in. So I wanted her to take you through her process, how she can help you become more comfortable with sales as well. So Lynette, if people didn't catch you on the first one, can you tell us a little bit about you and what you do?
Yeah. So my name's Lynette Esperanza Robinson. I'm a business coach and consultant. And as Leslie just said, I specialize in helping people double or even triple their conversion rates using something that I call the transformational sales system. One of the ways that I have been able to help people create these dramatic results is by using my years of experience in business and also working with like 9-figure international franchising companies to help business owners tap into their unique genius so that they can really show up inside of the marketplace and be the leader that they're called to be. I combine lots of different things, but one of the things that I rely really heavily on is science-backed mindset work, really powerful sequencing, and strategies that are customized for my clients for where they're at, because it's not just about some like cookie cutter strategy that's going to work for everyone. You are unique, which means that your business is also unique. So I'm so excited to be able to talk about this today because it's something I'm super passionate about, and it's honestly really, really fun.
Absolutely. So what are the biggest barriers that you see with your clients when you guys first start out in their sales or their sales process?
Yeah, this is the best question because I think, and we were just talking about this before we started recording, but there's so many people who get into this work, like coaching, expert, online service provider, because they're amazing at what they do. They know that they can help someone create a transformation, make a shift, make a change, and they can do it in a unique way that's going to serve the market in just genius, awesome ways. But then it comes to the part where they have to like sell to people and they kind of freak out. They're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to say. This is awkward. Or how about this one? I don't want to be salesy. Maybe you are listening right now and you're like, yes, Lynette, I don't want to be salesy. I don't want to be like that spammy, sleazy, slick salesperson. And it's like, great. Yeah, me neither. And you don't have to be. There is a whole new paradigm of selling that is really oriented towards serving your client at the highest level before they even enroll in your program. And that is the power of what can happen when you step into a different paradigm of what it means to sell.
So what do you mean by serving them before they even get into your program?
Yeah. So one of the things I love talking about inside of my programs and with my clients is that our job as the service provider, as a coach, as the expert, or whatever it is that you do, is to provide your clients service at the highest possible level, like to help them move from where they are to where they want to be in a way that is just amazing and feels super good for them and you. And it's not just about like whatever is the bare minimum to like make it happen. It's about really creating an experience for them so that they're shifted from the inside out. And when it comes to sales, what's cool is that this is really your first opportunity to very much demonstrate that you are here for them, that it's not about you needing a sale, you like needing anything from them. It's about you showing up on that sales call or inside of DMs or wherever it is that you do that sales process and really coming with a heart that says, I'm here to listen and see how I can help. And when you shift from like, I need this sale to like, I need to help you, it changes the dynamic so dramatically that you get to a point where like people are, this happened to me just the other day. I had a sales call, we had a great conversation, and she was like, I need to talk to my husband. I really want to do this. And oftentimes, like we've been taught in the past, right, that like then you go into like how do you overcome the objections and this and that and the other thing. And we talked about a few things, and then I said, okay, I'm like so excited for you. You know how to get a hold of me when you're ready. And I swear to you, less than 24 hours later, she sent me a text that says, how do I pay you? And isn't that exactly what you want? You want someone who's like desperate to give you money because they know that you're the person who can lead them to the place that they want to go. And what's fascinating about that shift in paradigm, instead of like working really hard to overcome the objection of, what some people call like the decision maker objection of like your husband or spouse or partner or parent or whoever like needs to make this decision, it's like, no, I'm going to empower you to know that you, the client, understand what is best for you. I'm going to ask you questions. I am going to ask you questions about like, how do you think that conversation is going to go? Like, how can I be supporting you in that? But then it's about starting from a place that says you are already empowered to make this choice. You're already empowered to make the first step towards changing your life. And when you have that energy instead of like, let me overcome this thing for you, it's like it changes everything because it's like why are we trying to like overcome our clients?
Mm-hmm.
Like we're here to help them. We're not here to like put our stuff on them. We're here to empower them to the next level of whatever it is that they are doing inside of their life, wherever it is that they need help, whether it's their health journey, relationships, business, whatever. We're here to help them. And you can start that help. You can start empowering them from minute one inside of those sales conversations. And it
Yeah.
just it changes the dynamic a lot.
Oh, that it's a huge change when you go to empowering them every step of the way instead of, like you said, trying to overcome them. Because if you're trying to overcome those objections, it's kind of like you're kind of trying to fight for the sale when you shouldn't necessarily have to fight for the sale if you're confident in your ability to create this transformation for
Yeah.
them.
Yes.
And I say this because in my first year of health coaching, I came in as a registered dietitian out of my internship in the healthcare world. And I was like, I want to help people who want to be helped. I
Yeah.
don't want to go out there and try and, again, overcome objections or be like, you need to get healthy. This is what you have to do. I
Yeah.
know that for people to genuinely change and see results, they have to want it themselves. But that also held me back in sales calls
Mhm.
because I had the opposite way of like, oh my gosh, I'm pushing myself on them if I'm making a sale.
Right.
But if people were getting on the phone with me, it's because they wanted my support.
Yes.
So my sales process, once I, again, went from the mindset of like, oh, I need clients to, oh, I get to help people, that excitement, everything changed. And even before I got on a sales call with anybody, I would start to provide value to them. And
Yeah.
I did this online. I did this through live events. I did this through even networking.
Yep.
But through that process, sometimes people don't even know that they have a problem. They
Right.
don't know exactly what the problem is. So I took that as an opportunity in my sales process to start even before people worked with me. And
Yep.
I would start to educate them on the possible problems that they were dealing with, the first steps that they could take to start to overcome those, so that they knew, oh, this person could actually really help me, even though it was the basic information. But people need that to get started
Yeah.
and have that confidence. And again, empower them to take the next step, to be like, okay, I could do with a little extra help, a
Yeah.
little personalized attention, something that this is an out of this world service for my health.
Yeah.
And once that I got through that process, everything felt easy. Everything felt fun. But developing that process for yourself, again, you have to find your strengths, and that's what you support people in doing. So is that kind of how your sales process works at the beginning, or do you approach it differently?
Yeah, I think you bring up so many good points. I think one of the biggest things that people oftentimes like don't understand about the sales process is that at the very most fundamental level, sales is a transference of energy and emotion. So if you don't have like rock solid, absolute confidence that your thing is going to change their life, and that like you believe that they can change their life, it's going to be really hard for that person to ascend above your level of belief. And so, and again, it comes down to like you've got to shift your mentality, kind of like you were talking about, of like it's not that you're pushing yourself onto these people. It's not that you're like trying to do something to them. You're trying to do something for them. And when you can start to shift the perspective and start to understand that you are in a position of leadership, like they are coming to you because something along the line, like you said, something in your marketing is like working, right? Like, yay, it's so exciting. It's working, and they're starting to see you as an expert, as a leader, as a guide, as a person who can help them get where they want to go. But then you get onto the sales call and you've got this like wobbly, weak, weird energy. And it's like, maybe this is not the person. Like I thought they were the person who could help me. But if you're coming to that call or that DM with like really weird vibes and energy, they're going to feel that. They're going to feel like, oh, like she's trying to push herself on me. Why do they
Mhm.
think that? Because you are thinking that. And so like I said at the beginning, like I do a lot of, like, there's a lot of like strategy and like really proven systems that I utilize. But one of the biggest things that I end up talking with my clients about when it comes to this is like, hey, you've got to like shift your perspective. You got to like just like almost like take a step outside of your body for a moment and try to look at it from a new perspective. And when you can start to do that, it opens up your eyes to this whole different dynamic. It's like you were saying, like, oh my gosh, I get to help these people. Like every time I get on a client call or sales call or whatever, I like get so excited because I think to myself, this is like the best thing ever. And I cannot even believe that I am so lucky to be able to help this person. And then like when people get results, I'm like crying. I'm like, oh, because it's
It's
so
the
beautiful,
best.
so powerful to see someone changing their life. Even just like those tiny aha moments where someone I was on a group coaching call the other day and someone like in the middle was like, oh, I was like, are you okay? She's like, I just had the biggest aha moment. And it was so cool because you get to be a tiny part of someone else's brand new life, something that they have been yearning for. crying for, praying for, searching for years, maybe decades, maybe their whole life. And you get to come alongside them and be a tiny part of helping them create what it is that they know that they have inside of them to create. They just needed like the key. They needed that little piece that you alone can provide.
Mm-hmm.
And when you really get a hold of the power of that, I'll say this, when I got a hold of the power of that, it changed everything for me, because it was like, it started to eliminate those thoughts of like, oh, what are people going to think of me? It's like, literally, who cares? Because the only persons whose opinion of me really matters is my own. And more importantly, like, I know the people that I'm helping, like, I'm changing their life. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
great. I'm like pissing off like one person in like, Omaha, whatever.
Uh-huh.
Great. Like, but the people that I am connecting with and I am helping, those people's lives are changing. And it's the same for you. It's like when you start to get a hold of the truth that what you have to offer is so powerful, it's so life-changing, it starts to shift how you show up in spaces, including your sales call.
Mm-hmm.
And when you can start to reflect and ask yourself, like, why do I believe this about sales? Like, why do I, like, what's inside of me? Like, what experiences have I had? What beliefs do I have around sales and the sales process that I'm bumping up against? Because like you said, so many people that I work with, they don't want to feel pushy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just gonna like maybe just hold on, folks. Like, many of the people that I work with are women.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that for so many women, we have been conditioned through our whole life to be small, not be pushy, don't be too loud, don't be too much, don't be this, don't be that. And so we bring all of that into these spaces where we are the expert. You are the expert. And what's happening is that like all this like social conditioning of like, don't be too loud, don't be too much, don't be bossy, like
Mm-hmm.
this is not what's
Stopping
happening.
us.
Like, yeah, like, women, it is okay for you to show up and be a leader in your space. In fact, the world needs for you to show up and be a leader in your space. And you're not being pushy. You're not being bossy. You're not being too loud. In fact, you're probably not being loud enough. You're probably not leading as strongly as you can. And you're probably not showing up in the ultimate brilliance that you could be, because you're worried about what someone else might think. You're worried that like maybe you're coming off as like salesy. But the truth of the matter is like, you own a business. If you're listening to
Mm-hmm.
this and you're like working on your marketing, working on sales, you have a business and you have a moral obligation to show up inside of that business and market and sell in a way that's going to help the people that you are called to serve. Like, it's that as simple as that. But I think so many times, like, we get so inside of our heads about what's happening that you get in your own way, and you stop yourself from providing the service and the help and the transformation that you could be, because you don't want to sell. You don't want to be pushy. And the fact of the matter is like, you can sell in a way that is like totally leaned out, like totally fun, super aligned, really simple, and it works. And in fact, it like works better. And
Yeah.
especially if you're a woman listening to this, like, that's the way you need to be selling. Like, you don't need to be selling from this like hyper masculine, like push it down people's throat to overcome objections. Like, that's not the way forward. Like, the way forward is to learn how to sell and to use a system that harnesses the power of your unique feminine energy and your unique voice to speak to the people that you're called to speak to.
Absolutely. You can make it so much fun. And it's like
Yeah.
when you have that confidence, like everything changes. And I always like to think of it from the other person's perspective. So
Yes.
that person who's actually reaching out to me for help on whether it's their marketing, whether it was on their health before, I when I developed my process, I always thought about how would I feel if I were reaching out to somebody to help me, for example, like lose weight. When you reach out to somebody, you're nervous for something like that. That's
Yes.
probably something that's bothered you for a while. You are hesitant to actually make this change. You might
Mhm.
be nervous to make a change in your business and reach out to that coach. Like, you have to think about it from their perspective, and then you can guide them through the process so much easier because they're looking at you as that anchor of confidence that hey, they can definitely help me. And when you guide them instead of push them, it's
Yes.
totally different, and it makes it feel better for them as well. And
Yeah.
that you don't even have to say the word sale.
Yes.
You can say support. You can change the words in your mind, whatever you
Mhm.
need to do to make that process easier for you, because it does get to be fun. If you want it to be fun, it
Yeah.
can definitely be fun.
Yeah.
So what would you say are like essential parts to a sales process? I know that's a hard question, but if you could simplify it for the people who are listening who might have not even heard of a sales process before.
Yeah. This is an awesome question. Okay, so one of the things you need to think about when you're entering into the sales process is that y- you need to honestly start by acknowledging the fact that like it's all the sales process. Like it's the whole thing. From your first piece of content, your marketing, all of that is building towards this moment of building trust with this client. And I love what you're talking about. I'll just kind of like take a little sidebar, but it's related. So hang with me. Like what you're talking about with thinking about it from the other person's perspective and like how they might be nervous. And this is so true. Like maybe you who are listening have been like, yes, like the first time I reached out to a coach or like anybody, I was like, I've been there. I know that, when you're like, I'm stuck at this point in my business or my relationship, and I've tried a bunch of stuff, it feels really vulnerable. And making sure that you're doing everything that you can to create like a safe place for them to for your client and your potential client to just be okay with sharing what's really going on with them. And so like for example, your content or your marketing, whatever your marketing strategy is, like those pieces are kind of like pulling out those threads, like kind of pulling at the things where they're like, oh yeah, like I am kind of stuck on this, or yeah, I yes, this is me. And
Mhm.
then when they finally get to the point where they're like, yeah, me, I've got something going on, you need to help them see like why, like essentially like why they're still there.
Mhm.
And this is the part where it's like where some coaches, like some sales coaches will talk about, like you have to like dig into the pain. And it's like, yeah, you do. You do need to help people see like you were stuck and why are you still stuck? But you can do it in a way that's really kind and really gentle and acknowledges the humanity of that person, where it's like you've probably tried a lot of stuff, which is awesome.
Mhm.
Like acknowledging and applauding them for like the work that they've already done so that they know that when they step into new work, it's not like, oh, this isn't going to work for me because I've tried all this other stuff. It's like, no, like you're starting from a place of experience. Like you're not starting from scratch, you're starting from experience. And even in all the things that maybe haven't worked in the past, that's information for you. So it's like you start from that in that process of, yeah, like helping them see like why what they've been trying hasn't worked, but also helping them see that like it's not lost. Because
Mhm.
a lot of times when you dig into that pain, people will feel a lot of shame. They'll feel a lot of like, I suck. I can't
Mhm.
believe I have tried all this stuff and none of it's worked. Like it clearly is me. And it's like, no, dude, like it's not you. Like
Yeah.
you haven't found like the right match for where you are right now. And I see this a lot in business because that's the kind of people that I work with almost exclusively, is helping them see like you don't suck, like your business isn't broken, nothing's wrong with you. The problem is that you haven't found like the right match to where you are, like the sequencing of what's happening, of like the strategies that you're trying aren't matching with where you are at in your business. And they're probably like too cookie cutter. They're probably too like one size fits all. And that's just not
Mhm.
how humans function. So um, I think that is like a big part. One, acknowledging that everything that you're putting out there is part of your sales process. Two, making sure that you're creating a safe environment, like the way that you're moving through that so that they feel comfortable to tell you the things. And then three, like helping them see that the next best step for them is to move forward with you. And not because like you're magical, but because they're magical and they have the wisdom to acknowledge that this strategy is going to be the thing that helps them move forward and empowers them to take action and then continue to take action. And
Mhm.
as another little sidebar, I liked what you said about like the difference between guiding and pushing. It's like if you're pushing someone, you're doing most of the effort, versus if you're guiding them, the decisions that they make are going to be their own and they're going to stick. So
Mhm.
you're going to get a lot less of the like chargebacks and like weird stuff and like people being dissatisfied because they're going to see like, no, I decided to do this, so I'm going to lean in to make sure that this works for me, and like utilize the resources inside of your program, service, whatever product, to make sure that it it moves them in the direction that they want.
Mhm. And you can absolutely be nurturing and supportive through
Yeah,
your sales. That's how I really like to see it because, again, you
100%.
kind of feel this shame because you're like, oh, I've tried all this stuff and now I'm going to try something else. Like, it's not going to work because all this other stuff didn't work. But honestly, if you listen to them, first of all, make them feel heard, that
Yes.
people really want to feel heard. Because if you're not listening to them, they're going to notice and they're going to know that you can't really help them.
Yeah.
Because if you don't listen, you don't know exactly what they need.
Yes.
And then you can nurture that relationship and support them through taking these steps for themselves. Again,
Mm-hmm.
it's not about you. It's not
Yep.
about us. It's not about the business
Yes.
owner. We're here to provide the service, provide a transformation for somebody. It's about them. So, learning how to support them through the sales process,
Yeah.
I think making that mindset shift as well. Like, I learned the very masculine
Yeah.
form of sales where you overcome objections, you dig into the pain points. I will tell you how horrible I was at those sales calls. I was like, this is not me. It's
Yep.
not me. But again, when I decided to guide people and support them and be nurturing, it was so much more natural. And they felt like, hey, I could do this. I have tried a million different things, but I can try this other thing. And even if it's not perfect the first time, I have Leslie there to support me, to
Yep.
figure out what will really go well for me in this process.
Yeah.
And that's everything.
Yeah.
So, what would you recommend to the entrepreneur who is stuck in their sales process right now?
Yeah. So if I could give you one really big piece of advice that will start to shift everything for you. Okay, I'm going to give you two. The first is, can't help myself. The first is reflect on what your beliefs are right now about what sales is. Like really, truly. And I know people are like, yeah, yeah. But I would encourage you, like, get a notebook, sit down and like really reflect like what has happened for you in the past. Like, have you ever been inside of a sales process that felt bad for you? Like, just really take some time to unpack that. Because if you don't do that, like those things are going to keep like coming up and like getting you. Um,
Mhm.
the other kind of very practical piece is that the next time you have a sales call, DM, however it is that you do it, really go into it to like listen to what their objective is without having your own in mind. just like completely put anything about like what you think it should be or like your goals to the side and come into it just ready to listen to what it is that their goal is without having your own in mind. Because this is going to, again, just shift the energy inside of that exchange where they do feel heard, where they do feel safe to say whatever. And they're not going to feel that kind of like subtle energy of like, I'm trying to get you to do something. And you'll notice right away that it's a big change. And I'll say this, like, as people come into this like new way of selling, it like at the beginning, it can feel a little bit like, oh no, but it will very soon feel so fun, so easy, and so you. I loved what you were saying is like this other way of selling, just like, like it feels clunky because it's not you. It's like, trying to like wear someone else's clothes or something. And that's not what you want. You want to feel completely authentic, really grounded inside of those exchanges, because that's how you continue to establish trust and safety for that person to know like, oh, this person really knows what they're talking about, can totally help me, and is here for me.
Absolutely. And those are so, so important. So if you want to connect with Lynette, I'm going to leave all of the links below the video and in the podcast description so that you can learn more about the sales process and all of the brilliant knowledge that she has. If you didn't listen to the first episode that she was on too, go back, look through those episodes and listen to that one as well, because it was so much fun. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's so fun.
If you want to learn more about different marketing strategies to bring consistent clients into your business without feeling the pressure to post on social media, make sure you watch the free training on the client connection method, which is in the description below. Thanks for hanging out with us today.